Spain's lost youth refers to the generation of young people in Spain who have become disproportionately affected by the country's economic crisis and working conditions. Many of these individuals are unable to find stable employment and are facing high levels of unemployment and distress. This has led to a sense of disillusionment and frustration among the country's youth, who are struggling to find their place in a challenging economic climate. Workers below the age of 30 suffer from high rates of low salaries, temporality, seasonal jobs, and partial employment, with many young Spaniards now wanting to become a civil servant as a future aspiration because of the stability this employment brings. The situation has also contributed to a rise in emigration among Spain's youth, as many seek opportunities abroad. There is no one clear solution to this issue. However, there are ways to prevent it from getting worse and to provide better opportunities to Spain's youth in the long run. Investing in education, training programs, and encouraging industry sector growth through the government's policies are among some of the potential solutions that could be incorporated. As working conditions and employability in Spain deteriorated, many Spaniards have looked outside of Spain for working opportunities in other EU countries and internationally. This emigration has also, at the same time, caused some brain drain within Spain, as many with tertiary education and degrees willing to leave have done so. This is very beneficial for the individuals, as many go to live some of their younger working years abroad, gaining crucial experience in their field, knowledge of the world, and improving their language skills. But for the country in the long run, this is not as good. If the country's economy and job market do not improve, many of these individuals may not choose to return, leading to a permanent loss of talent and expertise. However, it has been argued that the brain drain was dramatized by the media, and this situation was not as bad as some were making it out to be. Yet, many people have not been able to look for working opportunities abroad. This is due to the language barriers that exist, as Spain, compared to the rest of Europe, does not have a high level of English knowledge. This could be attributed to the fact that Spanish is one of the most spoken languages around the world, and some people may feel that learning foreign languages is not as high as a priority when many other people will learn your language. France also finds itself in a very similar situation to Spain. General exposure to foreign languages through movies, series, and other types of content is heavily reduced, as dubbing content in Spanish is a very big thing in Spain. This has been a long-standing tradition, as many people are accustomed to watching dubbed content. Relying on dubbed content can make it harder for people to learn other languages and engage with international culture. A possible solution to this issue would be to try to increase foreign language exposure among Spain's youth by encouraging watching content in its original language and reading subtitles in Spanish along with it. Additionally, reducing people's reliability on always having dubbed content would also be good. However, the industry is very large in Spain, and this will be problematic, as many people are employed by this and a lot of money is sunk into keeping movies dubbed. Although some original language cinemas have started to emerge in bigger cities like Madrid and Barcelona. As the economic and job opportunities available to the youth worsened in the aftermath of the 2008 economic crisis, many turned to new parties that were emerging for answers. Yet, many of these parties were on extreme sides of the political spectrum, with Vox being a party from the right and Podemos being a party from the left. These gained immense popularity amongst younger voters, as they had felt the traditional parties like PP and PSOE had abandoned them and were not bringing in any substantial change to aid them. This, however, has caused polarization among Spain's youth politically, as Spain has been known for centuries to have problems with political polarization amongst its population, taking the Spanish Civil War as an illustration of how far political polarization can go and how it can put one family member against another for political reasons. Many families were torn apart by the conflict, with some members supporting the nationalists and others supporting the Republicans. Subsequently, new legislation and renewal of outdated systems can be very beneficial for a country. However, leaning towards political extremes, whatever they may be, is a slippery slope. This can lead to tensions and conflicts that can have long-term effects on social and economic stability, further making the situation worse, especially so in a country with a history for internal political conflict like that of the Civil War. Overall, the Spanish government faces an incredibly complex and embedded problem that requires actions that target and benefit society as a whole, not only young citizens. Today's youth is tomorrow's future. There is a risk that tomorrow's Spanish society will be more fractured, with a broadening socio-economic gap separating those who did and did not get trapped in precariousness while young. Nevertheless, the Youth Guarantee Plan Plus 2021 to 2027, linked to the European Social Fund, is the agreement to conduct labour inspections against youth precariousness and the abuse of temporality and partial employment. Some of the proposed actions by experts include modernizing the economic fabric to boost sectors and industries that, unlike hospitality, are not subject to seasonality and temporality, more funding and programs for vulnerable young people at risk of exclusion or living in disadvantaged areas, and adapting higher education to the reality of the labour market. Spain has invested heavily in education reform, and as a result, the country has seen many new opportunities for different forms of education. One of the biggest changes in education in recent years has been the transition to online learning, which has been accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Many schools and universities have shifted to online learning, and there are now many options for students to earn degrees and other qualifications entirely online. However, there are some drawbacks to online education that are not always discussed. Watch this video here to find out the untold truth behind online education that they do not tell you about.